So it was about a year ago in which I was in my favorite coffee shop, and it was at that time I overheard the young woman who was a barista talking to a co-worker, and I'd gotten to know this woman over a period of about a year, and she was telling her co-worker that she and her boyfriend wanted to get married, but couldn't afford a wedding, couldn't afford a minister, couldn't afford a church, and she didn't know what she was going to do. Well, she did know what she was going to do. She wasn't going to get married, and yet she really wanted to. So I stepped forward and I said to this young lady, I said, you know, I'm an ordained minister, and I'd be happy to marry you for free. Wouldn't cost you anything. Would that work for you? And she was actually pretty overwhelmed, and she said, that would be amazing. You do that? I go, well, sure. Why not? And so I said, in fact, I think I might be able to get you a church free as well. So I stepped away. I made a call to a wedding coordinator that I know, and I asked this woman, I said, would you be willing to give your services and the church for free to this young couple? And she, without missing a beat, she said, well, sure, I'd do that. No problem. And at that moment, I had an idea, and I said, you know, I'd like to know also going forward, would you be willing to do that for other couples, those that have the need and that they want to get married, but they don't have the resources? And she said, sure, I could make sure that would happen with the church and with my services as well. And so I came back to this woman and told her the news that we have a church, we have a wedding coordinator, and my services all free. And she was thrilled. And it was at that time that I began to get the idea of I could do this wherever there is a need. And so that's what I've committed to, because of my heart and my passion for marriage and for God's intent for individuals who love each other to be in a committed relationship like that I offer my services for free. And I've encouraged, this year I'm encouraging ministers in my community to do the exact same thing and to offer their facility free of charge as well. So the National Marriage Week is February 7th to 14th, and what we do in Chicago is we ask the pastors of all the churches to preach on marriage, preach on God's plan for marriage. That's one of the things that we have them do. Also, we have a partnership with restaurants, with resorts, with businesses, in which during that week that they can, couples can come in and get deals on meals, on packages for hotels and things like that, things that will enhance their relationship, the marriage relationship. And then along with that, we also have speakers and events that come out and speak on marriage. We hold events at different venues in which people come and get training. They hear speakers talk about marriage and how to have a healthy relationship within marriage and before you get married as well. So the whole initiative is to lift up marriage and to give people resources in which to help them develop the most important earthly relationship they will ever have.
I'm Nathan Kinkle. I'm a professional videographer, and my neighbors were getting married and had no money, and I stepped in, shot their wedding for free. I web streamed it and gave them it the next week. And you know, times are tough and people want to get married, so why not?
My name is George Kenworthy. I've been a pastor since 1972, I guess is when I started. And when I entered into ministry, I determined I wasn't going to let money be an obstacle to providing ministry for people. And part of the reason for that is that my sister went to a church where there were leaders of the church that came and told her how much she should be giving to the church. And it just so turned her off that she hasn't been back to church since. So I decided when people ask me about what do I charge for a wedding or for a funeral, the answer has always been, I don't charge anything. And that's been my practice for a lot of years. And I find that it's given me some incredible ministry opportunities to talk about what matters. It was just a couple months ago, back in March, I had a young couple that were facing the challenges of where do you go to get married and what do you spend and all the stuff about finding the place to stay and so on. And so I said, why don't we just do it at my home? They liked it. We had a very, I think, beautiful wedding. We were able to make it way more personal for them and obviously make it affordable as well. So I'm a big believer of the intimacy that you can create in these private free weddings that we do.